Alright, hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at some spoilers. So this is the final warning. Yes, you probably saw the title. Yes, you still clicked on the video, and thank you so much for the support with YouTube's horrible monetization. But this is your last chance before we get into some spoilers. And to be fair, you're not that far behind. You're somewhere roughly about back here. And, well, we have this kind of stuff still to go. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you're on chapter 2. I actually don't know where Global is. But still, last time... All right, now we're into spoiler territory. You've been given fair warning. Last time, we took a look at chapter 3 with a fairly big reveal of who the Lord of Ash was, and it turns out that FFBE has been playing its greatest hits again, as, well, Mont has turned into an evil douchebag bastard, and it's up to Lucio and friends to right the wrongs of whatever the heck is going on. Still, not the worst thing ever. It's kind of an interesting plot, right, in that, there's some intrigue and some stuff and what happened, and it can be an interesting thing, but it's a little bit funny coming from Brave Exvius, where they essentially kind of did these major plot points. Say what you will, Alum/Gumi is very good at recycling things. But here we are in chapter 4, and chapter 4, it hosts basically the rest of the characters that we will be getting for the banners coming up in the future. Now, of course, Shadow Lynx has come out recently on JP, and she is a Water Elemental 70 cost archer. And if you've been following JP's story for another story, 3 Ashes of the Apocalypse, you know that it's not just Ketone Ketone. Getting ahead of myself. It's with the Warrior of Crystals. There's a couple of characters that show up in the plot that seem to feature much more prominently. One of them is Shadow Lynx, who gets upgraded in grandiose fashion, and it turns out that she's not the only one, because as we go through this more recent plot, we also see that Dario was one of the ones from the early on silhouettes that seemed like it was fairly obvious based on essentially the silhouette. Like, it seemed pretty obvious. Now, as for Lilith's brother, he seems to be more aligned with the bad guys at this point, and we still have 2 mystery characters. So if you're keeping track at home, Shadow Lynx is the 3rd character, with the new version of Lucio being the 2nd for the good guys, and the 4th for the good and final spot for the good guys, no idea yet on cost, and no in-game battle model, is Dario. And Dario we actually get to see coming up here in a little bit. Apologies, I do have to skip through a bunch of this, but basically the plot goes, we've got our characters aligned to each side, and yeah, these 2 get essentially their Sailor Moon crystal moment, where they get upgraded as they are battling the forces of the King of Ash. So let's just go through here. Skip a bit. If I was to guess about who is going to be the 5th character, like the 5th banner character, I'm assuming that 4 is going to be Dario, just so that we can round out all of the good guys, because it seems like all of the good guys are just going first up. 4th will probably be Lilith's brother, who I have forgotten his name, so apologies to Lilith's brother. Please write a comment on this video, and I will also offer you up an apology there. But yeah, as you can see, we end up getting this scene. It goes on a bit longer as I click through a million times. And here you go. New versions of both Shadow Lynx, who we've already seen is the Crystalline Archer, Water Elemental, and our new Dario. And Dario is looking particularly pretty cool. We might not have gotten an upgrade, but this, I mean, I kind of hope that Dario comes back in the main story somehow, just because. But that is not the only thing. As you play through number 10, there is a new battle model for Ketone. Yes. Probably incredibly low hanging fruit in terms of people being surprised. Ketone was almost certainly going to be involved in this story, given that Mont ended up being the king of Ash. But there you go. There's your what I would consider to be the most shocking reveal of the entire lineup is that old Doa somehow ended up also being aligned on this team, which is quite interesting. I know for a fact, well, first of all, congratulations to her for finally figuring out some more appropriate armor. I guess the other armor could distract the opponents, but still, nice to see that she's kind of wizened up, potentially in her old age, to be a little more cautious about on the battlefield. But yeah, this pretty much concludes the lineup at this point. I think it's pretty well known how the rest of this is going to play out. The cost thing, I assume, for the bad guys will very much mirror the cost for the light side, which seems to be either 270 costs and 100 costs, or 100 costs and 170 cost. I guess we'll have to wait and see on Dario, but Dario is probably going to be the next banner, quite possibly at the beginning of February. However, there is one thing to say: Dario didn't have a in-game battle model yet. Ketone does, and Ketone is Dark Elemental, which I don't know if that's going to play like a major role or not, but personally, like, I kind of expect Dario to be next, followed by Lilith's brother, then Mont, or it could be the polar inverse and kind of mirror the light side. But yeah, this pretty much tells you who is going to be in the rest of these another story banners. And for some, I know that there are probably a few old Doa fans still kicking around out there, and seeing a brand new version of her probably fairly exciting. So yeah, just wanted to drop this by. Might help people plan or save for a specific character that they want, regardless of what element. Don't know what element Dario is, but if we're going like one element, one of the 8 elements for each of these 8 characters, you can kind of knock off water for the new version of Shadowlings and dark for the new version of Ketone, which means Mont for fire. Then Mont will actually be a fire elemental character, which could mean Oldoa might be wind again. She might be lightning, given that she was already previously wind. That maybe the Valk's or Lilith's brother will be wind, and Dario, what's left? Ice, if I'm keeping track properly. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and thanks so much for watching. Take care. Later.